أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So, in our journey through the Qur'an, we've talked about the open heart, right? But now we have to look at its opposite. And the Qur'an, it doesn't really debate this. It just announces it as a profound and frankly tragic reality. We're talking about the sealed heart. And I just want to mention, all the insights we're about to explore have been beautifully put together by Mir Ali Shah for the Living the Wisdom of the Qur'an podcast. It's some really deep stuff, and it's a true privilege to get to share these reflections with you. All right, let's really get into it. The way the Qur'an introduces this idea is key. It's not trying to persuade anyone, it's just stating a fact. We're talking about a state where it's not that the truth is hard to see. No, it's where the rejection of that truth has become this fixed, unshakable part of a person's very being. So, where does this all come from? Let's go right to the source and see how it builds. We're turning to the second chapter of the Qur'an, Surah al-Baqarah, and we're zeroing in on verses 6 and 7. I mean, these two verses are the absolute foundation for this entire discussion. This verse, it kicks things off with this incredibly powerful, almost jarring statement about those who have chosen disbelief. It just sets the stage for a really stark reality about the nature of their choice. So you see, it's establishing an equivalence. It's saying that at this point, the human act of warning, whether you do it or you don't, it's become totally irrelevant. The outcome is the same. It's a really sobering thought, isn't it? That a certain threshold has been crossed. And then, boom. The lens shifts. This next verse moves us from the human action of warning to the divine consequence that follows that persistent rejection. And there it is. God has sealed their hearts. Now, we have to be super clear. This isn't about simple ignorance. This is about a refusal that has become so crystallized, so hardened, that the very faculties we use for perception, the heart, the hearing, the sight, are now completely veiled. But check this out, because the order here is so precise, it's fascinating. The seal begins with the heart, the core of our understanding. Then it moves to our hearing, and only then, finally, to our sight. It's like perception collapses from the inside out. The inner faculty is closed first. Okay, so what does this sealing actually mean? Let's dig into it from two angles that really complement each other. The classical outer commentary, which is called the Zahar, and the mystical inner commentary, the Batin. In this really shows you the two sides of the same coin. On one hand, you have the outer, classical scholars like al-Ṭabarī. They emphasize that the seal is a consequence, a divine response to a choice someone keeps making. So God isn't just arbitrarily blocking someone, he's honoring the closure they themselves have chosen. Then you've got the inner, Sufi take, from masters like al-Qushayrī. They see it as the tragic final stage of a spiritual sickness, when the heart has turned away so many times that guidance just sounds like background noise. And wow, the great Sufi master Ibn Arabi just perfectly captures the inner state with this phrase. He says, what seals the heart isn't doubt, not at all. It's an arrogant confidence. It's a certainty that has no humility, no sense of awe. It's the ego basically preferring to master the world rather than stand in mystery before the divine. Okay, let's peel back another layer here, because this ancient concept has some really fascinating dimensions when you look at it through the lens of symbolism, and believe it or not, even modern science. The key Arabic word here is khatama, which means to seal, right? To put a final mark on something. But in some mystical traditions, like Abjad numerology, words have these hidden layers of meaning. So in this system, the letters of khatama, khla, ta, and mim, have numerical values, 600, 440. Add that up, you get 1040. Then, when you reduce that number by adding its digits, 1 plus 0 plus 4 plus 0, you get 5. And in symbolism, the number 5 often represents structure, a foundation. So here's the crucial point. The structure itself isn't the problem. Our beliefs give us structure. They give us stability. But when that structure loses all its flexibility and just becomes rigid, it transforms. The very thing that was a sanctuary becomes a prison. The walls that once protected you are now the very things preventing any new light from getting in. And what's truly remarkable is how modern psychology echoes this chronic diagnosis. Seriously, we now know that when you repeatedly reject an idea, you are literally strengthening the neural pathways in your brain for dismissal. We see it with confirmation bias, right? Where we actively fight any evidence that contradicts our identity. The Qur'an is describing what scientists today call cognitive entrenchment, a state where our perception is no longer serving the search for truth, it's just defending our identity. And all of this brings us to the most important part, because this isn't just some abstract analysis of a verse. This is a mirror for every single one of us who's a seeker of truth. This is about us, right here and right now. You know, the real warning here is for the comfortable. The sealed heart isn't the one filled with questions and doubts. It's the heart that believes it has all the answers and just refuses to bend. So the question for us is this: when was the last time the truth really unsettled you? If it's been a while, it might be time to ask what doors we may have accidentally closed. And that leads us to a humble prayer, a supplication for ourselves, a prayer to the opener of hearts, asking to be saved from a certainty that has no awe, and to make sure that what we think we know never ever replaces our ability to truly listen. Amen. So far in this part of the Qur'an, we've seen the open heart and now the sealed heart. But the Qur'an's exploration of the human condition, well, it doesn't stop here. There is another state we have to consider. And this leaves us with a final, thought-provoking question as we look ahead. What could possibly be more dangerous than a sealed heart? Perhaps it's the state where belief is professed on the tongue, but the heart remains completely empty and uninhabited. And that is exactly where the Qur'an takes us next, into the complex psychology of hypocrisy.